Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm a Total Dork, and today we finally have a proper update to Fong after 3 months of radio silence from Treyarch. The only major update to hit Fong until now was the update for Season 1's launch, which was underwhelming to say the least. But here we are at Season 1 Reloaded, or Season 1.5 as Sledgehammer is calling it, and Treyarch have actually made some progress with Fong. So let's take a look at what they did, what Treyarch still has left to do, and whether Fong is finally worth playing. The most important feature with this new update is all tied together, so I'm going to talk about Von List's office, the new objective, and the Numa quote-unquote survival map as one thing. So after downloading the update and spawning into Fong, you'll be able to travel through portals to complete objectives and open up the hub world, just like you were always able to do. However, there's now a new area you can access via a portal on the map. It'll have you complete a random objective, and upon completing that objective, you'll be able to access the new area of the hub world called Von List's office. Some players were able to glitch into this area months ago, so a lot of us already knew what this area looked like, which definitely lessened the impact. Granted, the area itself isn't all that noteworthy. Not that anything in the hub world is. However, this new area will give you access to the new objective called the Void, which is very reminiscent of the traditional round-based zombies game mode. You spawn into the section of Numa that's already in Fong with whatever you had in the overworld, and you have to survive 3 rounds before being given the option to exfil back into the hub world. You can stay longer if you want, but after 3 rounds, I went back to the overworld every time to restock an armor, change covenants, and things like that since you can't do them in Numa itself. There's a pack-a-punch machine there, but that's it. This is also an objective you can access at any time during your game once you have access to it, so you don't have to wait for this objective to randomly pop up like every other objective in Fong. Frankly, I wouldn't call this a round-based experience. At its core, it's an entirely different experience than a normal round-based map. For starters, all of your setup is going to be done in Fong itself, so you're forced to play through the roguelike gameplay loop to get everything you need instead of spawning in on round 1, opening up the map, getting perks, pack-a-punch, and a wonder weapon, and all the stuff that makes up a normal game of zombies. This is quote-unquote round-based, but only after the setup is entirely done, which is half of the fun of zombies in my opinion. That being said, the objective itself is still enjoyable. It's easily the best objective in Fong. It's the most similar to the experience we all want. It's fast objective to complete, and it gives the player the most choice for how to play the game. Also, I'll mention that the Purge objective is also pretty good. I didn't play that objective until now because I haven't played Vanguard since launch week, but it's not a bad objective. And now Fong has as many objectives as Outbreak had when it launched. Switching gears, another important change to Fong is the Tome of Rituals, which is a new mechanic inside Fong that allows you to upgrade your field upgrades or artifacts in your game. In Cold War, you were able to do this by unlocking Ethereum crystals by getting to high rounds. And the Tome of Rituals is the exact same thing, but instead of doing that in an out-of-match progression system, it's all done within each game just like the perk upgrades, but using your sacrificial hearts that you earn for completing objectives instead of points. The progression for the Tome of Rituals isn't super deep, and it doesn't make you nearly as overpowered as the upgrades in Cold War did, but now you have something to spend your sacrificial hearts on in the early game while you wait for your legendary and epic covenants to start spawning in. So it's a welcome addition to my book. Get it? Because it's a book? I'll be quiet now. Those were the 2 biggest changes with Fong, but some of the smaller changes are actually going to make a big difference. For starters, score streaks were finally added into Fong, and if you were hoping for a vast sandbox of score streaks like we had in Cold War, then boy howdy are you going to be disappointed. Vanguard has exactly 2 score streaks, a death machine and a grenade launcher, both of which cost 3,000 salvage. However, it is worth noting that these 2 score streaks are incredibly good at taking out these Stormkriegers. These guys have been extremely annoying since the game's launch, and these do a lot to help balance out the game. They're expensive, but if you're going for a high round at Fong, you can keep one of these in your back pocket for Stormkriegers and use a shotgun for everything else. But speaking of shotguns, there's also a small weapons update that actually slightly changed the game's meta. Shotguns are still broken and overpowered. There's no reason to use anything else in the game. The SMG is just another SMG, and the melee weapon is cool, but not meta weapons by any means. However, the combat shield has a clearly defined role in the metagame as a defensive tool. Keeping this on your back will provide additional health for the player and reduce damage taken from behind. But the trade-off, of course, is that if you want more offense, you have to get rid of the shield field and get another shotgun or any other weapon in the game. There is some thought and strategy involved here, which has been otherwise completely missing from Vanguard. Up until this point, it's just been get a shotgun and get another shotgun, triple pack-a-punch them, and that's it, don't use any other weapon in the game. The game still needs a complete weapons overhaul like Cold War had, but at least there's something interesting happening. And last but certainly not least, after 3 months, Vanguard Zombies finally has a pack-a-punch camo. The fact this needed to be added at all is still astounding, but here we are. So there was a fair bit added with Season 1.5, but there's still a ton of stuff Treyarch still needs to add. There's still no classic round-based map within Vanguard outside of Fang, there's no Easter egg within Fang, and I still can't pause the game in solo. The game still has a lot of work to do, and in Treyarch's 115-day blog post that coincided with this update, they talked about what they're planning on addressing with Season 2. While they didn't commit to add anything directly, they said, quote, "There's plenty more in the works for Season 2, including multiple wonder weapons, more survival gameplay, a new story quest, the introduction for a new Dark Aether entity, a new enemy type, new objective gameplay, and more." So for the first time ever, there's actually some hope for Fang. It seems like Treyarch is trying to do something with the game mode. With that being said, is Fang worth playing now? Did this update make Vanguard Zombies playable? Well, no. While the update took several steps forward and added nothing but positive change to Fang in my opinion, there's still so much missing from what the game mode could and should be for it to be worth playing. Never mind the fact that it's going to be a non-starter for as long as a traditional round-based zombies map is absent. But Vanguard Zombies, at least as far as Treyarch is concerned, isn't gone and forgotten. And that was everything Treyarch added into Fang with this update and my thoughts on it. Of course, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.